Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So let me tell you something, right? Just listening to Eddie Hearn during that huge press conference yesterday that was very entertaining. He is not planning on making AJ versus Wilder. And that's what's frustrating about this, right? Now, there are discussions. There are discussions taking place for Wilder and AJ. Have a 2-fight deal in place to take place next year. But I'm going to tell you what I caught on to. Now, I'm going to tell you, I hope the fight, I hope it happens. I want to see it. But you got to listen to what Eddie Hearn was saying. He keeps talking about Flip Hrgovic. And I see Flip Hrgovic's on the card as well. But I'm wondering, okay, I'm saying, why is he keep talking about Flip Hrgovic? And I'm going to tell you why. They're looking at the fastest way to get Anthony Joshua in line for a shot at undisputed. That's what they're looking at. Now, let me show you something real quick. I'm going to show you what the hell they're doing. It's right here. Man, it's crazy. I can't blame them really, but let me show you what they're doing. When you look here under the IBF, right? The IBF, that's what Eddie Hearn keeps talking about. Flip Hrgovic. Flip Hrgovic's the mandatory to the IBF. By the time Flip Hrgovic gets his opportunity, either Fury or Usyk will be undisputed. They would have had one fight. They just had a press conference today. I didn't watch it all. I'm not sure if there's going to be a rematch. But the bottom line is, Flip Hrgovic is next up. Once Fury and Usyk have their 1 fight, 2 fights, whatever they're doing, Flip Hrgovic is next in line for a crack at it'll be undisputed at that time, right? Unless for some reason they do Usyk or Fury dirty like they did Crawford. Because you look at how long Hrgovic's been a mandatory. Hey, if somebody wins and decides they don't want to go, especially if there's a rematch, they don't want to go into a direct fight with Hrgovic, they're going to strip him. They did it to Bud, right? Hrgovic's been a mandatory for a long time. So if there's a rematch and they're contractually obligated, like Crawford was to Spence, they should strip whoever the winner is. That's all I'm saying. But when you take a look here, underneath the IBF column in red, you see that Flip Hrgovic, and then there's AJ number 3. The number 2 is vacant. So what you would normally see is the 1 and 2 fight, for an opportunity. But here it looks like it's going to be Hrgovic and AJ if that's the direction they want to go. Now what makes this interesting is Hrgovic is fighting on the undercard in a fight he should win with no problem. But I don't see Hrgovic wanting to sit around and wait until the summer of next year, or who knows how long, to get his opportunity for an undisputed distinction. This is where Hrgovic's going to have to make a decision. Fighting AJ is a very big deal. But fighting AJ in Saudi for Hrgovic, he got to make a decision. Take this money that I'm going to make fighting AJ, because it's basically for the mandatory position. He's basically defending his mandatory position. If AJ beats him, AJ's in that position, and AJ versus whoever, that fight's going to be made like that because of how much money's behind it. Or Hrgovic has to sit there and continue to go inactive, right? He's been inactive. He has a fight coming up on the 23rd like everyone else. But then if he chooses to wait, he goes inactive. And he has to wait and sit and roll the dice and go inactive and then wait for my opportunity for undisputed. But there's a chance for Hrgovic where if there's a rematch, that's what I was waiting to hear with Usyk and Fury. If there's a rematch clause, I would be shocked if the IBF doesn't strip whoever wins the fight and of the IBF belt because of how long Hrgovic's been sitting here as a mandatory. He's been a mandatory, I think, almost a year. He's been a mandatory for a long time. Remember, he was threatening to sue and everything else. Him and his team pissed off because he wanted his shot. But now, he had to, kind of I'm sure they put some money in his pocket to kind of calm him down. That's what he's going to have to do. Now, that's the easiest route for AJ to go, is to sit there and try to go at Hrgovic. Who's the more dangerous fighter? We know Hrgovic, his amateur pedigree, Olympian. He can fight. He fought everybody as an amateur. He can fight. Hrgovic can fight. Him fighting Deontay Wilder is a very interesting fight because of how he can fight. And he can crack too, but Deontay Wilder, we all know, as far as when you look at stylistically, he's probably a worse style for AJ than Hrgovic. Why would Eddie Hearn put him in there with Deontay Wilder? So I'm not convinced he's gonna put him in there with Deontay Wilder at all. He may say, you know what, if you fight Wilder, both of y'all make $50 million. You lose, you rematch, you make another $50 million or whatever, right? I'm just throwing out rough numbers. Let's say that's the case. That's $100 million. Or he says, hey, you come take a less risky fight. You fight Hrgovic, you beat him. Maybe he has an IBF title at the time because they stripped somebody. Or if not, now you're there as the mandatory to fight for undisputed. And you go into that fight now as a challenger and probably make, the same $100 million. Who knows what kind of money the Saudis going to be paying these guys by that point. All I'm saying is, I was listening to Deontay Wilder. He didn't sound confident, like he was going to get that chance to fight AJ. And I think he knows why. And he's already said it. He was cool at the conference, but because Eddie Hearn doesn't want him in there. He doesn't want AJ fighting Wilder at all. And to be honest with you, when you look at it from a business perspective, it's probably easier to roll your dice to just go against Hrgovic than go into something where it's a high probability, man, that you're gonna get hit by Wilder, right? Everyone gets hit by Wilder, but it's what happens when he lands that shot just the right way. It's lights out, right? So we're gonna see. But that being said, y'all keep cool. I just listened to Eddie Hearn, and I was like, you know what? This man has no plan of making that Wilder fight. If they do, I'll be shocked. But I think you're gonna want to see how AJ does against Wilder. But if he sees AJ still scared to pull the trigger and he's trying to box and coochie cool people in the ring, he's gonna be like, nah. So Deontay Wilder, I hope he knocks Parker out, and I hope the Saudis look and see like, hey, this is the guy we need to have over here fighting, because he's not cussing, he's not carrying on, he doesn't have that negative energy over there. But when he gets in the ring, he transitions and he delivers what the Saudis want. But anyway, let's see what the future holds. I don't have the Hood Champion crystal ball in front of me. We're just having a conversation in the breeze.